AK, Beat Lab Studios, Excluded Youth Production. Let 'em have it.
We're the ones you show no love to. Did a bit, no road to pursue. Just got free, but I'm screwed cause I'm tagged up. Gotta walk home with a see-through bad look. Feel like an animal, I've already failed. Crime on my mind, only just got bailed. There's gotta be a new way, true way of living. Can't get a job, so there's no way of winning. That's 22, what am I to do? Yeah, messed up, I've got rights like you know. You judge me, shrug me, nudge me. The world is a prison in a sense, got a bus free. I'ma flip those soon, no, trust me. Can't go home cause my girl don't love me. Next man took my place when I was inside. No tears form pain in my eyes.
You see, I'm trapped on the road. This life, it got me really. I've seen some ish in my life, and to me, it's like a theory. Stop, hold up, wait. The government needs to hear me. They got me locked in the system. I keep it right and really. I can't what the streets say.
Everyone has a different start in life.
Everyone has a different start in life.
Everyone has a different start to life.
Everyone has a different start in life.
Everyone finds their own direction.
But some of us have much less choice than others.
You see, I grew up in care where there is no care. I realised that people saying, oh yeah, they're buying me a cookie and then writing a receipt for it. So I realised they didn't really want to buy me the cookie without getting the money back. So therefore that put in that bang, you get nothing for nothing, innit? Yeah, straight.
Trouble is too easy to find.
And hard to resist. I've always misbehaved in school and stuff. Not deliberately, I just thought that it was hard to behave in a way. But that it was just rebelling. I was in care and they was being harsh to me, so if I was really pissed off, we wouldn't let me out or something. I'd put something through the window and climb up.
Thousands of teenagers across the UK like me has problems.
Problems that lead to their exclusion.
Problems that lead to their exclusion.
Problems that lead to their exclusion.
If you've got parents that are permanently at each other's throats, obviously it gets passed on to the kids, and you never shut it out, sort of thing. If your home life's crap, it's going to reflect onto your kids, and then they're going to end up the same way.
If you don't educate somebody on not only their rights as a young offender or anything like that, but if you don't teach them the difference between right and wrong, they're not going to know the difference between right and wrong.
This is before
if they lead a chaotic lifestyle, they're going to think it's normal to lead a chaotic lifestyle, and obviously it's not normal.
I was living in care and everything, and they just allowed me to be me basically, and I grew up thinking there was no consequences to my action until I ended up in prison. I was thinking, well, there has to be a way to show that, well, prison is rubbish. You get me? That's basically my message, innit? Prison is rubbish, innit? You don't want to end up in prison, innit?
But with the help and support of User Voice.
I always found it funny that if I'm going to be talking to someone about a problem, if they haven't experienced it, how can they understand it? So I think if it's about stop offending, I think a lot more ex-offenders, if they can, need to be able to help people to stop offending.
The government needs to hear me. They got me locked in the system. I keep it right and really.
We've answered questionnaires.
We've joined in focus groups.
And we've been discussing everything.
I got these straps and traps, but for the crime it's laps on laps.
How we were treated by the services.
With the youth offender team, if they could do things that are relevant to young people, you know what I mean, by way of it changes. Yeah, 5 years ago something may have happened and they might have come up with this fantastic strategy. Times change, people change, you know what I mean? It's an upkeeping strategy of how to deal with society.
The probation service.
I've had it before where they've even said, oh, I can see you're in a rush, so I'll let you go. I'm not even in a rush. If you've just come out of prison and that's what you're getting once a week, then you're not getting any help or support at all, really, because they're not, even though there is a lot of things that probation can do to offer support and stuff, they don't offer it to you at certain probation offices.
That's the only gripe I've got with probation. Some of their workers just ain't got the time. They won't even spare you the time of day, sort of thing. They just want to give you your card and get you out there as quick as possible.
My first experience was real horrible. When they try to tell you stuff and they've never even been in, even close to the situations you've been in, and they're trying to give you advice on it, you're like, who are you to tell me what not to do? I know this is wrong, I know this is probably not the best way to go about it, but how can you tell me this when you have no idea what circumstances led to this? And then they just do this whole psychology bullshit to you, turn you around, make you look like an idiot. I got diagnosed for mental health issues that I didn't even have.
They never ever listen to what we say. It ain't right, ain't right, ain't right.
I've been in temporary accommodation for like 2 months. But before that I was living in a tent in the middle of a field for like 3 months. And the council said you're not a priority to be housed, therefore your accommodation is coming to an end.
Could it be because you got them trapped in this poverty? Well, they can't see.
There needs to be more compassion. That's what there needs to be. More caring. Like they treat you like a figure all the time. You're always treated as a figure. It's like, yeah, you're just a number.
They need to change the way they teach. But you see, when you go to school, they read the textbook out to you. They have a test. Basically, they say something to you, you say it back to them. That's about it. It's not fun. You don't care about learning. You sit there, the guy talks to you for an hour, end of session. You go to your next class.
And what we would do if we were in a position of power.
I would have a job organisation just for criminals, specifically for people who come out of prison. And jobs are there for them, but why are you doing that? Try and help find other jobs at the same time.
I think they should appoint someone like a criminal rehabilitation minister, someone with a criminal record that has actually been to prison, that's been in situations that actually works for the people. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't work to get stats and shut things down. He works just for rehabilitating criminals.
All this pain in the world.
Cause of the way we dress, they don't like us. So now they wanna stereotype us, and it ain't right. Cause I swear, they don't know nothing about my lifeblood. They automatically think that we're criminals.
I want to know why ex-offenders aren't allowed to join the police or social service.
Why is it so hard for ex-offenders to get into education? Would better youth facilities reduce crime?
Clear criminal records after 3 years. It ain't true, once a criminal, always a criminal.
How do we look after families with multiple dads in prison?
Crime becomes the only vocation. You wonder why we end up back up in police station.
All this strain.
I think it's important that we politicians listen to young people, particularly ones who've been involved in the penal system. I feel there's a whole agenda of action for people like me, and I'm delighted that there'll be some good recommendations coming forward that we politicians can make use of.
They're just being brought up to hate the police from a young age. So how do they expect young people to be going to the police when they don't believe anything they say anyway?
It's never 999 dialed, cause I'm stopping our files. More time, more crime means more trials. In the fast lane, time flies.
The first thing that's come over to me is how impressive all the young people have been today, and how involved they are, and how they want to actually improve things.
You look at the Bacardi Breeze and the Wicked, and it's like not different from a Panda Pop back in the day, is it? I mean, like, you know, we've grown up with that, so you see that, you identify that with something you like, and you end up just,
I think one of the emerging themes at the moment, which we've heard more about today, is just how much a barrier having a criminal record is experienced by the young people. And I think there are opportunities for us to think through the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, which exists at the moment. Think about its application. The legislation is nearly 40 years old now. It's about time we reviewed it, just to see whether it really is the barrier and whether we're doing the most that we possibly could to help young people who have offended, who've ceased offending, get into employment.
So if you look at that and say, well, all right, that sounds, you might say, well, that sounds good, or it sounds rubbish, or whatever. How do you make that happen? And that's the most important, because the government says they've got no money.
Okay, I'm really interested in not the facilities that we're offering, but the mentality and the message we're sending behind those facilities.
So today's really important. Today is an opportunity, and what's really impressive is a way that it's been organised systematically to gather the views of offenders and ex-offenders on what will make a difference in preventing youth crime.
You won't help you with nothing. Just speak to you like a nice person, but really they're not doing nothing more, just asking you questions and asking how many units you've had.
What they're trying to do is help the policymakers achieve a change in policy that will keep young people away from crime. And that means that they're going to be right at the coalface, trying to give us solutions to problems, not problems. That's why I welcome everything that Use the Voice does.
Across England, so the last 6 months have been developing to this point. If the methods work that your natural leaders out of your community, if we seed fund you money,
what difference can you make in your local communities with regional commissioners? So by my reckoning, this is the start of a project, not the end of it.
Let's make it make a difference.
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 Yeah, well there you have it. Use a voice. Time to make that change. Get that voice heard.